everyone, I hope you had a Merry Christmas. So what's today's video about? When you plan the perfect Christmas and then...
Oh, he's taking a picture.
Ah, that's all right.
So yes, we planned the Christmas whole get together just like you guys. I'm sure you all had plans with family or just plans to stay home by yourself and enjoy the holiday. Yeah, bring in that Christmas season of 2022. And that was our plan. I have off Christmas Eve the whole day, and I have off Christmas Day from work. And the day before at work, it was wonderful. There was only a few of us working. We blasted Christmas music. We brought food in. We just did all the things and hung out and had a great day, and it was wonderful. I came home all excited. So that evening, I started to do some prepping for the next day and just, things around the house and whatever. And then I thought, oh, you know what? I really should get some laundry done. So I gathered the laundry up and I went to go do the laundry to find that the basement was flooded from rain that we had had. Now, -6 degrees was our temperature that day here in New Jersey with the wind chill factor. So my basement was cold and then it was flooded. I'd have to wade through water and I'm like, oh, I'm not doing it. So no big deal, right? We just put the laundry aside. We can do that another day. It wasn't desperation, but we weren't running around naked or anything like that. We had clothes to wear. So I started doing a few things and then, it's like the end of the night. I don't feel like doing dishes. I'll do them in the morning. So I put that aside and get up in the morning and I made a big Christmas Eve morning breakfast, dirtied all the pots and pans, did all the things, made us lunch. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to save all the dishes till after lunch. So dirtied all the lunch dishes. And let me show you a picture of this. I did all the lunch dishes, I got them all dirtied up from a nice meal and I was just getting ready and I thought, well, let me clean the kitchen and then I'm going to prep food because we were going up North Jersey, 2 hours north. So if any of you are from the Ridgewood area, we were headed up there and Wyckoff and all that area to visit with family. So my son and daughter-in-law had to work till about 5-ish. And then we were leaving from there. So I thought, all right, here we go. Get everything ready, bring the food that I was going to bring. I packed all the gifts, had everything laid out on the table, ready to go. All I had to do was now make the food, get it in the crock pot, in the liner, and pack it up to head out. And my husband said, you know what, I'm going to take a nap. And he did that right around lunchtime, or maybe just before. We had an early lunch. We ate lunch at 11. So he said, I'm going to just take a nap, put my head back for a little bit on the couch. This way I feel fresh and ready to go for the evening. Great. I said, you know what? I'm going to go watch a little YouTube. I haven't had a chance to get caught up and all that. So I go and watch YouTube. Makes sense, right? Yeah, well. Next thing I hear my husband get up to go to the bathroom and I hear this moan. You ever have one of those moans and you go, uh-oh, what just happened? So I come running in and I see my husband on his hands and knees with a towel and yelling to get more towels. So let me just show you a picture. Okay, I didn't show you the picture of the mess, but I did show you a picture of what had to happen because of the mess. So at this point, the toilet is overflowing. The tub is overflowing. The water is coming from underneath the walls. Our kitchen sink is now backing up. It was not a pretty sight. Let me just say, it wasn't clear water, if you get the drift. It was dirty water. It was from the septic and the sewer, and everything is now backing up. So my husband tried to plunge, and we were like, okay, what's going on? Now, if we back up to a few days before that, we had to plunge. Those things happen when you live in a family and you have toilets. So we plunged, we didn't think anything of it. And then it started to gurgle a little bit. A couple days later, had to plunge again. And you're kind of like, is there a blockage? What's going on? Well, now it's to the point where you can't do anything because it's coming higher and higher. So the best thing is where I live and work, we have a maintenance team, and we are in a company home. So we have the privilege of having a team on duty and on call for emergencies. We had an emergency Christmas Eve. It was about 12-ish or so we had to call. So the guy came over. Kudos to Anthony. I don't think Anthony watches my videos, but Anthony, you were kind and you were a gentleman. Now, first of all, he comes in and he takes a look at the toilet and the tub. You can imagine how embarrassing it is for someone to see your, things, dirty water. So the floor is soaking wet. He says, all right, let me go to the basement. So my husband has to warn him, our basement is flooded because it had rained. Then we also found out that the sub pump never kicked on. So now we have water in our basement. So he has to wade through the water, and we have like a half basement, half crawl space. Had to climb into the crawl space side. And now he's got a bucket and he's trying to release the pipes, but he can't do it too fast because if it explodes, you can imagine what would be all over our basement. So he's trying to do that, and then he comes up and he's plunging, and then he goes out to our septic tank thinking there's a blockage, and of course now -6 degrees, you can imagine the ground is frozen, everything's frozen. He's using a heat gun to do a blast into there, and that's not working, and then he's trying to snake it from the outside of the house. He might have to take the toilet off and snake it that way. He's doing all the things, everything possible. 5.5 hours later, he still cannot figure out what is going on with this blockage. This is what we're assuming, there's a blockage. So let me get more comfortable on this chair here. So this is the wonderful world of the Wilsons. So here it is, Christmas Eve night. Now at this point, we have to make runs to the bathroom because we don't have a toilet and we have no facilities here in our house. My job is right there. I mean, we're minutes away. No problem. We get in the car, we run over to my job, and we use the toilets and the facilities over there. We come home, he's still working here. Had to make another run over there. Come back, he's still working here. So now at this point, I have to make a call. Do we go up north to visit our family? So we had to call. We tried to reach my mom. I couldn't reach her. We were able to reach another relative and let them know, hey, we can't come. We have sewage backing up in the house. We have major plumbing issues, and we don't know what the problem is. We can't leave the house like this. Call my son, cancel with him. We're not going up north. I'm texting him because he's working. So after 5.5+ hours, another maintenance guy comes over, and they're trying to figure out, all right, what can we do? So there's this other tool of sorts, and he said, I guess I'll run to Home Depot and I'll pick that up and we'll see if that doesn't help the problem. And they're standing in our driveway having this discussion when all of a sudden he looks down, and bubbling up from the driveway is water. There's stuff bubbling up. And he went, that's not good. So what they realized is there must be a pipeline that would run from the house to the septic. And that was what he was saying. Nothing seemed to be running from the house to the septic. They were able to diagnose that. It wasn't that there was a blockage that when you flush the toilet, it needed to be pushed through. Nothing was running. So he said, we probably have a crack somewhere in the line, and we're going to have to dig up the driveway and repair the crack. Okay. So that meant, he said, now this is later Christmas Eve night, and he said at this point there's nothing we can do until Monday. So our Christmas Eve then meant that all the dishes that were lined up on the counter that were dirty, I can't wash because I can't use the water because it's not going anywhere. Then I can't do the laundry because we can't run that water. We can't take showers. I said the most we could do was wash our hands, and we can't use the toilets. So now what do you do when you're thinking Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, you have no bathrooms, no water, one of those moments. So I had to go to Plan B. Fortunately, where I work, it's a Christian camp and conference center, and we have rooms. And we didn't have anybody checking in until the 26th. So I ran over, got some keys to a room, made ourselves a place to stay for the next couple of nights, at least for during the night, that if, you you had to get up in the middle of the night, you had a bathroom. So we stayed home Christmas Eve, and I said, okay, well, let's ask our kids who were coming over on Christmas the 26th to do our family Christmas. Do you want to switch gears and come over? Thumbs up, we'll be over, we'll come home. They had to work at church that night, and he said, we'll go home, take a break, we'll come over. So now I have to figure out, how do I cook food when I can get water because I can fill pots, but I can't dump water and I can't wash dishes. So I had to rethink and go into, stockpile mode. What do I have? Freezer, what can I do? We ended up having some hors d'oeuvre type things and cheese and crackers, and we made it work. You know what? It was wonderful. It was simplistic. It wasn't fancy. It fed our stomachs. We were happy. It was all good. And the best part was we were family. It was my 3 kids, me and my husband, in our home. We had Christmas music playing. We had the fireplace going. We had the tree lit. It was our family. And we sat around and got caught up. I asked my kids what's going on in their world. We ate, we laughed, we giggled. We opened our stockings. We opened our presents. We hugged. We loved each other. It was a blessing. And I said it was worth having toilet issues for the blessing we received from just being with our family. So now Christmas Day comes. So what we did that night is our youngest son wanted to stay home. He said, I won't need a bathroom during the night. I'll be fine. So we did an 11 p.m. run for bathrooms for him, came home, let the dog out, locked him up in the house secure. And my husband and I went over to the room, and I'll put a picture up here. It was just it's like a motel room that we were able to rent, and rent free of charge, but stay there, let's just say. So we were able to stay there for those 2 nights. So we set up camp. We brought our clothes and whatever we needed. Not much, because we were only going to sleep there, get up the next morning, hit the bathroom, of course. We came over at 6 a.m. to let the dog out, and that was Christmas Day. So we kind of tidied the counter as much as we could with the dirty dishes, and I made a little area of, good thing I had a stockpile of paper cups, paper plates, and paper plasticware and things like that, so we can make coffee indisposable. I could heat things. So the bottom line came down to whatever I could heat in the microwave on a paper plate, or make a sandwich or something like that, where we didn't need to dirty pots and pans or pour out water. Like I couldn't make noodles because I can't pour out the water. We were able to do that. We made do for the morning, and then for lunch I had to go to work. I'll explain another time, but we had to work for a couple of hours serving in our dining room, and it is something we do to give back on Christmas or one of the holidays. So we were able to get a great lunch over there. I'll show you a picture of my lunchtime over there, and hang on for a minute and I'll show you a video and some footage of the food and what we ate. So you can see that I had this great meal. We ate over there, again, used the bathroom facilities. And then we came home and had about 2 hours here. And I was actually supposed to have my mom and another relative here, and we couldn't do that. So I had to call her and say, hey, can we piggyback over to your house? Because I can't cook here. I don't have bathrooms. So we made whatever food I could make. Again, cheese and crackers, chips and dip. I couldn't do a whole lot because of not having pots and pans. So my mom was a little disappointed because some of the things I was going to do would have been warm, but she had a ham. She had made some deviled eggs. We made it work. It was great. Brought stuff over there. Exchanged gifts with her over there. Yeah, and then it came home that night and, made sure we ran right over to my job and everybody used the bathrooms. We came back here for a little while. Then I said to my husband, let's go over early. Let's go over about 9 o'clock to the room, get settled, lay my clothes out, because the next day I had to work. Make sure I have the toiletries and all the things that I need to get up in the morning and have a shower. Then I came back at 11 o'clock at night, picked up my son, brought him over to use the bathroom, brought him home, let the dog out, locked him up, went back to the room, and I had to get up 6 o'clock the next day and took my shower. We packed our stuff. We left and we went out and grabbed some bagels real quick, came home and got everybody situated with a breakfast, put my makeup on, forgot my earrings, those little things that, you're quickly running out of the house. Got myself all put together and ran over and opened up the office and welcomed 300 plus guests checking in the next day to my job. So the room we had was obviously filled, and we were just hoping and praying that the guys would show up and be able to fix the problem. So here you go. I'll show you a few samples of our Christmas that turned out to be wonderful, and what also happened, the Christmas drama that we never expected in our driveway. So I'll show you some footage of that.
Back up. No. Why, he's taking a picture.
Ah, that's all right.